Hey, you got time for a beer? I know I do. Welcome to my show. It's Thursday, which means I'm drinking a new beer. You can find me at tubajake_69, and hopefully you already have, at Untapped YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Tell me your stories. I like to hear them. I just had a friend send me a comment on one of my things that ice cream trucks are overrated, so I'm not missing out on much, so that's good. The beer I've got today is Bell's Porter, 5.6% ABV. It says our award-winning Bell's Porter bridges the gap between malty brown ales and heavily roasted stouts. Notes of chocolate, coffee, roasted barley are offset with just a slight hot bitterness. Enjoy any time of year. And at 5.6% ABV, it's light for a porter, but also not. It's good. I like them when they're lighter. So let's see what this is like. Pop this guy open. Figured I'd get out the Hop Slam glass, because at least then it's a Bell's glass that I'm drinking this out of. Says the shelf life on it 6 months, which makes sense because it is a lower ABV beer. Although I've got a few others that are in my collection of beers that I have not had yet that are not within their best by dates for sure. Says March of 22 when it was packaged, so lots of time still. So like it said, chocolatey, coffee, roasted barley, a little bit of hops. Sounds good. Let's give this a shot. A little bit of coffee, a darker chocolate flavor. It's still pretty bitter, but like the roasty chocolate's a little bit there, but it's more coffee, this one. Oh, a lot more coffee, this one, which is good. I like coffee without the lactose, so it's better this way. This is really good. What does this remind me of? Black coffee. It reminds me a lot of black coffee. It's a really good porter. I'm trying to think of what kind of a porter it reminds me of, one that I've had recently. I'd go, it's someplace between a Bell's, the Bell's Stout and the Bell's Best Brown. It's too bitter to be the Best Brown, but it's almost too sweet to be the stout. I want to say it's the Expedition Stout. That sounds right. Almost too sweet to be the Expedition Stout, and too sweet to be the Best Brown. So it's right there in the middle. It's very dark, which I like that. My favorite beers, or the ones that have a better chance of me liking, are dark, light, a little bit fruity. This doesn't have any fruit to it, but it's still pretty good. Does this remind me of a story? A story, of a porter. The only story it really reminds me of is where porters come from, because I've heard it from so many people on different beer podcasts, where it's a beer that was developed because the people that would unload ships, the porters, load ships too, they wanted something that was more substantial than the beer that they were getting other places. So it would be a heavier beer, because you could drink one of them and feel pretty good at the end of a really super long shift. And I understand that. But also they wanted something that was more flavorful. With the darker malt, it made it that way. So you get porters, which are usually like 8 to 10%. 5.6 is definitely on the low side. But this is delicious. I like this a lot. I could definitely carry some things after having one or two of these. Carried some salt up, like big, like 2.5 gallon pails of salt up from my parents' basement today. So obviously I'm a porter now because, you know, I'm drinking the beer and carrying stuff. It's not a boat, but still. Let's see, what else does this remind me of? Trying to think of a good story. I don't know. Maybe I'll just continue on with the one that I got cut off on yesterday because I was done with my beer. So this guy is in my van. I see him in my rearview mirror. He's in my van. So, you know, I start yelling, ah! Because it's surprising, go figure, to have somebody pop up and look at you in the back of your van. But I mean, what did I expect? It was unlocked. And I was kind of expecting nobody to go in there, but obviously that didn't happen that way. So I'm yelling, get out, get out. Well, I mean, those weren't exactly my words, but they were very much like that, insisting that he gets out of the van. He's like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home, because this dude was super drunk. I mean, obviously, how drunk would you have to be to crawl into the back of somebody else's car? And, you know, just want to go home, just want to go home. Eventually, I was over yelling. So just like, I'm not taking you home if you're in the back of my van. You got to get up into the front seat. So he climbed over the middle seats and into the front seat. And I took him home. We had a small conversation, not really worth repeating. Not here anyway. There are kids that listen to this. I'm not doing that because it's really super weird and I don't want to repeat that. But got him home. He stumbled out of my van and I drove home, or back to my apartment at the very least. But that took me like 30 minutes out of my way, and I did not stop to go to the bathroom before I left because I was like 5 minutes from home. I was just going to go when I got there. So I had to stop on the side of the road to take a leak, which was a little bit nerve-wracking because, you know, I'm out in the middle of cornfields, because that's where Mount Pleasant is, in the middle of cornfields. Slightly north and west of town. Standing by my door, hoping that nobody came along. I mean, I've got my lights on and stuff, so flashers and whatever. So hopefully they would see me before I got run over, but I mean, I was nervous. So then I got home, I ate my pickles, watched some, I don't know, watched something that was on TV. Because this was before there was Netflix or any other streaming service. And went to bed. Makes for an interesting story. When I tell it completely all the way through, far more interesting. But stopping in the middle is strange. So anyway, I've got a quote for you. This one is from Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. She said, "One man can make a difference, and every man should try." So, make a difference. You have the ability. Don't forget, you can find me at Untapped, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, all at tubajake_69. I'll catch you next time. Yeah, I'll catch you next time. when you get time for a beer.